Hey everyone, Julian here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to make dark hypnotic techno like Setaoc mass. As usual, you can get the full project files, samples, MIDI, presets, all of that from this video right at the top of the description. And if you're a patient on my Patreon, check there because it's already available. And yeah, let's dive in. We're on 131 BPM. The first sound that we have here is this first arp, which sounds like this. So here's the MIDI for this one. It's really simple. It's just these two sort of like dissonant sounding notes. It's C and then F sharp, and it's just going burr, burr, burr. So yeah, it's a really simple MIDI pattern. Like, you really don't want anything super crazy. That's the thing with this style, is like these crazy arps and things that are sort of like, you know, doing all these different metallic sounds and robot sounds and all that kind of stuff. What's gonna make it crazy is more like in the synth sound and, you know, the actual way that you set that up. In terms of like the actual notes, you usually want them to be pretty simple. So this is just two notes, and then for the sound with this one, it's made with operators. So the first thing I'll show you here actually is this -12. This is actually, you can see, just automating to come on, so that basically it's just going down an octave every other one. You can also just go in and, like, you know, actually put that stuff down an octave. But yeah, that's what I did with that. It just kind of makes it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more alive. For the sound with this one, it's made with FM, so we have just 3 sine waves here. I've got them at different octaves, detuned a little bit, and then that's pretty much the sound. It's a really simple sound to make. You just kind of get in and start playing around with different, like, you know, different FM sounding settings, and you can see that the sound comes together pretty quick. Then after that we have this chorus. You can see this isn't doing a whole lot, the amount's down low, but I had this feedback up. So here's without the chorus. And then with it, you hear how it gives it that sort of like texture? Like, yeah, you hear that, like, metallic thing happening over top of the sound. That's what this is doing. Then we have this echo and reverb. So these are both giving the sound some space, you know, kind of. Yeah, you can hear those happening. Then we just have a bit of drum bus. It's kind of fatten it up, and this also brings out all those effects. And then a high pass filter, and then a low pass filter as well. And this is actually just, like, very simple mixing basics. So we have this art. And our first one. And you hear how when we play them together, this arp that I just showed you, arp 1, is a lot more in the mid-range, and then the second one that I'm about to show you is a lot more in the high end. That's the idea here. If we turn off the slow pass, you can hear this is actually going to be in the high end a lot more. And then they're kind of clashing a little bit. So that low pass is just a really easy way to make sure that you're not going to get any clash between these two similar sounds. And yeah, that's it for the first arp. Then we have the second arp. So the way this arp is being played is I have an arpeggiator here, so I'm just putting these notes into the arpeggiator. It's C, F sharp, so both of the notes from that last arp that I showed you, and then just another C, an octave up, and then C sharp. So, you know, pretty standard sort of like dark dissonant stuff. And then what's happening here is I have this arpeggiator on random, and then I have the steps turned up as well, so it's like going across different octaves. For the sound with this one, this is also created in a really similar way to the way that I made that first arp, where you can see it's just this FM, 3 sine waves here. The thing that makes this one a little bit more exciting is the way actually that I have this coarse pitch set up here. You can see the coarse pitch on the second one is at 0.5, and on the first one it's at 5. So what's happening here is, like, if you set the coarse pitch of your oscillators that are doing the FM on oscillator A, if you set that lower than oscillator A, it kind of creates a different texture. So then when you're playing notes, like, you may not even really hear, like, You can hear the notes in there, but it's like you're creating a lot of tones in the FM just by having that coarse pitch turned down so low. So that's what we got there, and then I just have a low pass with a bit of an envelope on it to make it kind of more plucky. And then we have this chorus and some echo, so just giving it a bit of space. I actually didn't have that reverb turned on. You know, with this sound, I wanted to just kind of let it breathe a little bit and focus in on the echo. I do have a little bit of reverb on echo, but it's mostly just this ping pong noise. You can see it's also pretty wet. I've got the dry wet turned up a lot with this one. And yeah, then we just have this drum bus, which is fattening this up and bringing out the echo. And then finally, we have a high pass filter. And yeah, that's it for the ARP. After that, we have the kick, which sounds like this. So, first we have our main kick. This one, it's just like this really fat, punchy, more like 909 style kick. That's really what you want to try to use for this style of techno, is like a 909 kick like this. You can hear this going through this echo. I'll turn that off. I'll explain that at the end, but yeah, just like nice, fat, punchy 909 kick, and then I have it going through a little bit of drum bus, and then we have the rumble inside of that same group, which sounds like this. And yeah, so this rumble is made literally just using that exact same kick. It's 3 effects. So we have, first of all, the kick is playing 16th notes. So you can hear that's creating this bass line already. You know, there's a lot of low end in that. And then we're putting it through this amp, which you can hear brings out the rumble even more, you know, really brings out that low end. And then we just low pass it to make it just the rumble. And then we sidechain into the kick, and there we go. Now we have a nice rumble kick. So yeah, it's a really simple way to make a rumble. I'll also show you with this one, like the velocities make a big difference. Having it kind of like da-da-da-da, like that, where it's like getting louder. That's a big part of this rumble as well. And then I have these in a group together just with a little bit of drum bus. It's really subtle, but it's just giving these like a little bit more kind of glue. Here's without it. And you're hearing that echo. I'll turn that off. And with it. So, you know, just makes this hit a lot more. Makes it really full sounding as well. Kind of glues the bass line and the kick together to make it feel like one. And yeah, that's it for the rumble kick. After that, we have this first Atmos sound, which sounds like this. So this one's really simple. It's just this sort of atmosphere thing that I made. This is just like super standard sort of background atmosphere. It just adds a bit more texture. You know, having that little happening in the background, you're gonna really feel like the track is kind of like in its own little world, if that makes any sense. And yeah, so that's what we're doing that one. And then I just have it going through a high pass filter so that we're really just getting the like high end, because that's all we really want from this one. You know, when you have a sound like this, you have to keep in mind, you don't just want to let the whole thing play. You want to focus in on like just the ranges you want, which in this case is just the high highs, so I just have that. And then I have it being sidechained to the kick as well. And yeah, then we have the second one, which sounds like this. So the way that this sound is being made is it's actually taking this atmosphere sound. And that first click, that little, do you hear there? You can see I've just taken that in here, and then I just made this little like percussion loop. Where you can see, it's kind of similar to the rumble, where we're just like playing with the velocities to create this interesting pattern with just 16th notes. And then what really makes this one is I have this pitch envelope on here, and then I've also shaped the amplitude envelope. So here is without the pitch envelope. You can see I've taken it and just shaped it into like, you know, just like a percussive hit. But then you add the pitch envelope, and it just adds that extra amount of click on there. And yeah, so this is just a really cool way to take like you know, just an atmosphere sound like this, like something that everybody has. Everybody has some kind of little like sound like this, and then turning it into a cool sort of percussion. And this is the type of thing you might hear like in the intro of a track. Like maybe it would start. You know, it might start like this, and then you get like. And it's just there in the background of the track, giving you that driving like percussion. And then for effects on this one, I've got it going through just a bit of echo. You can see this is on quarter notes and it's on the ping pong setting. So that's just giving it a bit of space. I've got a bit of drum bus to make this a bit fatter as well. You can see the transients are turned up, so that's really helping to get it like clicky. Because again, like when you're working with more of like a Foley sound like this and you're trying to turn it into something that's gonna fit in techno, a lot of times you have to kind of like, you know, do extreme stuff here, like with the transient knob and stuff like that. Then we just have a high pass filter to cut out the lows, and then finally I have a compressor just sidechaining this a little bit to the kick. That helps with the rhythm, you know, it's all like, it's all coming together. It's the velocities in the notes, plus the delay, plus the sidechain, plus the echo that's happening through the send that everything is being sent through. It's like all of that stuff comes together to make the sound. And yeah, then we have these little percussions, which are just these two little sounds. You can hear I've just kind of got them bouncing off of each other. So yeah, these are just two percussions, like rim shot type of sounds. I've got them in a drum rack here, and then they're just playing like some extra sort of background stuff so that you know, we don't want to have just the hi-hats and the kick. We need to have like some other interesting stuff with the percussion. So that's the idea with this one. And just add some stuff that's not going to take up too much space, but it's going to fit perfectly into the background. And these are just, like I said, real simple, just going through a little bit of drum bus, a little bit of a high pass filter. And then the last thing here, before I show you this echo, is the hi-hats. We're starting like this. So we just have this sort of like, you know, pretty standard 909 sort of techno hi-hat. Got it going through some saturation and a high pass filter to really make it hit hard. And then this one, which is just going every single time. And that's also going through saturation and a high pass filter. And then we've got a bit of drum bus and a high pass on the group of these as well. So real simple. The main thing to keep in mind is just like the saturation and stuff and really making things hit, because when you have a really simple track like this, like this track is not a lot of elements, you know? So you need to make each element as big and as full as you possibly can. And so just going through and like saturating everything is going to be a really easy way to honestly just make everything sound really full and really fat and professional. And then doing it on the group as well, like I've shown you here. And then the last thing here that's really actually tying everything together is this delay send down here, which sounds like this on its own. So as you can see, I have almost everything going through this. Like literally even the kick is going through this. And what this is doing is it's just creating this really cool sort of cohesion between every element. The way I think of this is it's almost like if we just had an extra audio track bringing in like this percussion loop that had like elements of every single sound inside of the track, but without having it just be like its own percussion loop. Like with having it just be like a nice... yeah, sort of like background thing like this. It doesn't have to just be like, you know, an extra percussion loop brought into the background. It's a more creative way to at once tie everything together and add more percussion to the track. So with this, what it is, the key to this is that we have two delays. I like to have usually like dotted eighth notes and then either just straight eighth notes or quarter notes, which would be this fourth setting on the delay. And then you filter it. So you're getting these two delays playing off of each other, and then also they're being filtered so that everything that's coming through here is kind of just fitting into that like specific narrow range in the middle. And then I just have a little bit of drum bus which kind of beefs it all up and makes it really feel like a percussion. And then I have a compressor which just sidechains this to the kick, because a lot of times this can kind of mess up the transient of the kick. Like, it seems like a small detail, but if I turn off the sidechain, you hear how you're getting that like the echo from the kick is playing over top of the kick. So the sidechain just makes sure that you're always actually hearing the transient of the kick. And I'll just show you like what this does for the track. So here is the track without this. And then with it. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things, like if you just played those A-B without saying what exactly you were doing that was making the second one sound better, it would be hard to pick up on. It's a really subtle thing that just adds a lot to your track. You can hear this really makes it sound like everything is kind of coming together and like it's all in the same world. And yeah, so that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the full project file and samples and MIDI, presets, all of that stuff from this video right at the top of the description. And if you're a patron on my Patreon, check there because it's already available. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.